us. Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, and his assembly. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Simu. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are Madam to Ambassador Daniel Liao, the Taipei Rep to Sweden, Dharma Sister Judy, Accountant to the School, Dharma Sister Teresa,
环球消逝宗亲联谊总会会长萧喜
the Worldwide Xiao Clan Association's President,
萧喜南先生及夫人
and Mr. Xiao and Mrs. Xiao,
香港上产品国际有限公司主席萧妮英小姐
and the chair of the Hong Kong Sang Products
香港刘雪贤律师
and from Hong Kong, Liu Xuexian, the
台湾
attorney,
结账是公关主任
PR director of Taiwan Temple, Dharma brother Fermi Wong,
马来西亚那都李海安师
and
兄
that took
那丁李
from
欣师姐
Malaysia,
千金
Mr. Li
李
Haian
琦师姐
and the Latin Li Jing and their daughter Li Qi,
王进贤教授亨利
and Professor Wang Jingxian and Mrs. Wang,
新加坡电视主持人依林师姐
and the TV host from Singapore, Miss Yiling,
天音雅业合唱团团长
and the leader
Ji
of the
Shi
Voices from Heaven Choir Group, Dharma Brother Ji.
大家晚安，大家好。
Good evening, everybody. How do you do?
你好，大家好。唔該晒。那么今天晚上我们是
This evening,
地藏王菩萨。
we practiced
地藏王菩萨
Siddhigarbha
它本身
Bodhisattva.
有两个手印，
Actually, there are two mudras of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. One is the pearl holding
他用手
mudra
捧着光明珠的。
on his hands,
另外呢，
and the
有
other
一个这
mudra
个手印
is this.
这个手印就是属于金刚牙。
This is considered the Vajra teeth
那么地藏王
mudra,
菩萨，他的金刚号其实也是
and the
金刚
Vajra
牙
name of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva is also
这手印是属于这样子，
Vajra
这个手印
teeth
也可以。
with this
那么
mudra.
它也有两个咒，
And he also has
叫做 Om
two mantras.
哈哈哈为萨摩耶娑哈，那是他的
That's one
本
of
尊的
Om
地
Ha
藏
Ha
王菩
Ve
萨
Sa
本
Ve So Ha.
尊的心咒，
That's the Siddhigarbha
还有是
Yidam heart
灭
mantra.
定业
And the other
真言
one
之咒，就是我
is the
们
karma
今天
eradication
所念的咒。
mantra, the mantra to remove fixed karma, which is the one that we recited today.
那这两个咒都是可以的。我们在修法
Either of the mantra
有
is
两个手印
fine.
还有两个咒。
And for our practice, there are 2 mudras and 2 mantras. You can
并
use
不
any
单
of
指
them.
说你用的哪一个咒对，或者哪一个咒不对，哪一个
You
手
can't
印
say
对，
that
哪一个手印
which
不对，
mantra is right or
其实
wrong,
都
or
是
which
可以的，
mudra is right or
都是
wrong.
可以的。
Either
佛
one
菩萨
is fine.
本身来讲也有很多很多的手印。
So Buddhas and
非常多的
Bodhisattvas
手
have
印。
many, many mudras.
有很多的种子日，就是佛菩萨所共同的。
And there are
你
many
如
sit
果那
syllable
个懂得这
sit
个
syllables
梵
that
文
are
的
common to many Buddhas
手
and
印，
Bodhisattvas.
或者是大部分的手印，
If you
来
understand
自于东密的非常的多，来自于东密的手印特别多，
mudras
上密的手印比较少。
come
在
from
西
the
藏密
Japanese
宗的
Santrayana.
手
There
印
are many more
用的比较
from
少，
Japanese Santrayana.
东密的。
And
对，
from
比较
Tibetan
多。
Tantrayana are fewer.
那么我们看这个咒语，
So there are more
这个用
in the
嗡
Japanese
字的，
Santrayana.
大部分来
And
自于
for mantras, if it starts with Om,
用
typically
南无的，
it comes
就
from
是来
Tibet.
自于东密。
And if it starts with
来自于东
Namo,
密的咒，
then it
东密的
typically
咒
comes from
跟
Japanese
藏密
Santrayana.
的咒，还有我们密教里面
So,
又
and
分
in
成
Tantrayana,
所谓的藏密，又分成中密，
there
又
are
分成台密，
part that's
又分
belong
成东
to
密。
Tibetan Tantrayana, Japanese
这个主要
Tantrayana,
的是
and
因
the
为
Mount Thai
藏密
Tantrayana,
是在西藏
and also
发展成
Chinese
的，
Tantrayana.
称为藏密。
So Tibetan
在
Tantrayana
中土
is the one
发
that's
展
in
成的，
Tibet. And
就
the
称
one
为
that develops in the
中密。
Middle Kingdom is called the
在这个五台
Chinese
山
Tantrayana.
天台山发
And the
展
one
成
that
的，
developed
我们称为
at
台
Mount
密。
Tian Thai,
在
we
日
call
本
it the Thai,
发展
Mount
成的
Thai
就叫东
Tantrayana.
密，
And the one in
这
Japan is called the Japanese
这个有
Tantrayana.
些分别。
So
那
there are
么
some
有些佛菩萨
differences.
的像也不一定完全是相
And
同
the。image or the appearance of the Buddhas and
日本的
Bodhisattvas may not necessarily be the same.
东密的
The ones
像
that belong to
它
Japan
看起来呢，
or
好像
Japanese
说那
Santrayana,
个马哈嘎拉，
say
马哈嘎
Mahakala.
拉在藏密
In
它是很
Tibetan
凶猛的，
Tantrayana, Mahakala
像
is
大吉
extremely
祥天
ferocious,
大吉祥天，
like
在藏
Mahasri
密也是
Devi.
非常凶猛。
In Tibetan Tantrayana is also very
但是你在东密
ferocious
就
and
不一样。
wrathful. But in Japanese Tantrayana,
在
it's,
东密
they are
呢，
different.
马哈嘎拉
Mahakala in
好像
Japanese
是中老
Santrayana
人，那么很慈祥，
looks like an elderly
好像
man,
拿一个
very
拿一个
kind,
蛤蟆，拿一个蛤蟆，
carrying a hammer,
拿一个蛤蟆，
a hammer,
这个
a hammer.
就不像那个藏密，像大西峡天，
So look
在
very
东密
different from the one in
它的
Tibetan
神像
Tantrayana.
它就是
The
天女
Mahasri
的形象，
Devi in
非
Japanese
常美
Santrayana
丽，
looks
非常
like a
庄严。
goddess, very beautiful
那么
and
有点
magnificent.
唐朝的那一种
Look,
天女的像，
she
唐朝
looks
天女
slightly like
那是大吉祥天。
an image
在
from the
藏密
Tang
的大吉
dynasty.
祥天
But Mahasri Devi in Tibetan Tantrayana
它是骑着天马，然
is
后天马后面有一只眼睛，
incredible.
它可以看
She's
前面，可以
riding
看后面，
on a heavenly
面貌
horse
非常的凶
with
猛
an eye
挂着
and
这个
his
挂着这
behind
个鼓锣的
can
念
look
珠，
forward and backward
这是属于藏
and
密。
wearing
藏密
a
的
necklace of
神像跟这个
skulls.
东密的神像，
So
有些实在是不太
many
相同。
images are
但
different
是因为
in
流
Tibetan
传呢，
Tantrayana and
首
Japanese
先密教
Tantrayana.
是在印度，
But Tantric Buddhism started
那
in
由这
India
个不空、善无畏
from
跟金刚智
Amoga
三个人传到
and
唐朝的
Simbarak
时候，传到中国，
Subaraksawa.
然后这是属于中密的部分。 也是从这个印度传过来，传到
So
中
that
土
started from
这个天台山的
Japanese
密宗呢，
Tantayana, and
当
it
初
transmitted
这
to the
个
Japanese
空
Tantayana.
海跟这个罪尘，空海是到了西安，
And Kukai went
那么
to
它传
Xi'an,
承是属于中密，中国的
so
密宗。
his lineage come from the Chinese Tantayana.
天台山，所以它传承是属于台密，
And Zuichen
两边不
went to Mount
所以你到
Tiantai,
了
so the
日
lineage
本
is the Mount
你
Tai
也可以看到这
Tantayana
个罪尘
for Zuichen.
的密宗的主要的山，那个叫做比什么山？比较的比，
The
然后
mountain,
底下一个那个字很难念，那怎么念？你们懂吗？
how do you pronounce that character?
比霍山，
Called
比
Mount.
瑞山，比瑞山那是
比瑞
台密的道场，台密
That's a spiritual
台密的
center for the
天台
Thai
天台山的
Mount
的
Tai
密教。
Tantayana.
那如果是在那高野山的，是属于
And
空海大师
The one at
从
the
西安
Wakayama
这个迄今佛
Sun is belongs to
演变成
Kukai,
为这个高野
where
山
he
的
went to
密教
Xi'an to obtain the sutras.
日
That's
本也
the
有
Japanese
两派
Tantayana. So in Japan, there are
韩
two
国去韩国
Tantayanas.
的时候
There are
他
two
们比较
schools
不
of
盛行
Tantayana.
密教，他们盛
And
行禅宗
in Korea,
大部分是属于
Tantric
曹
Buddhism
洞
is not very
曹
popular.
洞宗。
They are
台
mostly
湾
Zen
的出
Buddhism
家众一般
and
是
belongs
属
to the
于
Cao Dong
也
school.
是禅宗，
And in
但是属
Taiwan,
于这个
it's also Zen
临
Buddhism,
济宗。
but
临济
it belongs to
临
Linji.
济宗，
Linji.
台湾的禅宗是属于那个临济宗比较多，韩国的
Mostly
禅宗属于
临济
曹洞宗。
The Linji school. But in
Ah.
Korea, is the
我
Cao
是大
Dong
部
school.
分是跟大家这样子讲。那么中国原来呢，
And
这
in
个
China,
从印度一直传到
it
中国
started
的
from
佛教
India. The Buddhism that spread to Buddhism
这个清凉山，所谓那个我们讲清凉山，因为它
started
非
at the
常
Mount
的那
Wutai
边也经
or
常
the
下
Clear
雪，
Cool Mountain.
有半年会
It
封山，
snows there
五
quite
台
a
山
bit,
有半
and
年会封
the
山。
mountain is closed
那
for
么在
about
清
half a
凉
year.
山呢，是在佛经里面
So
就早
this
就记
Mount
载，文殊
Clear
师利
and
菩萨
Cool
的道场。
Mountain has been written in the
那
sutras
其他
long
的
ago.
三个道
It's
场
a spiritual center
像
for
这
Manjushri
峨眉
Bodhisattva.
峨眉
And the
山、
other
四
spiritual
川峨眉
centers, like Mount
普贤
Ermei
菩
from
萨的道场，
Sichuan, is the spiritual
这个
center for
浙江
Samantabhadra
南海
Bodhisattva.
普陀珞珈山
And
是
the
观
Mount
世音菩萨
Putuo
的
Lo
道
Jia
场，安
and the
徽九
Zhejiang
华山是地
is
藏
for
王菩萨
Guan
的
Yin
道场。
Bodhisattva, and
而
Mount
四
Anhui,
大道场
Anhui Province,
师父
Mount
可以讲
Jiuhua
四
is for
大境
Siddhikarma Bodhisattva.
那
So
四大
these
道
four
场
spiritual centers are also
在佛
considered
经
the
里面
four
有
pure
记载
lands on earth.
就是清
And
凉
of
山。
these four, only
就
the
是
Clear
五台
Cool
山。
Mountain or Mount Wutai was
那么
recorded
地
in the
上
sutras.
上菩萨的道场是韩
And
国
the
的
spiritual
僧
center
人
of Siddhikarma
金乔
Bodhisattva
节
was
到了安徽九华
set up
山，
by
那里
Jin
就开
Chao
创
Jie,
出来。
the Korean,
金乔姐在这个
the
九华山
Korean
去
Jin Chao Jie
开创出来。那时
that
候
established
称为
the Mount
这
Jiuhua
个那时
as
候的韩国人，
its
我们称
spiritual
为
center.
新罗吧，是吗？就叫新罗嘛。
Shiloh
新罗那边的
in
人，
Korea.
其实那时候在古代
So he
是
came from there.
相通的。韩国啦，
In those
这个
times,
都是彼此之间相通。佛
They
教
all-
本身的流传，也就是说，
they're all
从这个
connected.
印度，
So the spread of Buddhism was from
南亚
India
就是大
to
部分流
Southeast
传是
Asia,
小乘的佛教，
and
东
that's
南亚
for
大部分流传
Hinayana.
是小乘佛教。到了西藏，就成为密宗；
And then to
到了中
Tibet,
国，
and
中
then it
国的
would be
佛
called
教。
Tantric Buddhism. and then to China,
流传到韩国，
the Buddhism in China, and then to Korea, and then last to
佛教
Japan.
流传的地区差不多就是这
So
个样子。
that's the regions
当
where
然
Buddhism
在
spread.
这个那么中国、
Southeast
韩国
Asia,
跟日
China,
本
Korea, and Japan.
普遍上讲起来呢，其实各个宗教，
So
在我觉得佛教是比较圆满的宗教。
for all the different religions, Buddhism is the most
那么其他的像
tolerant
这个基
and
督教、
embracing.
天主教、犹太
And
教、
Christianity,
回教
Catholicism,
跟东正
Judaism,
教
Muslim,
是同一个
Orthodox,
上帝，
Greek have the same
他们是
God.
同一个上帝，只是他们的派别不同。
It's just that they
天
have
主教
different
就比较
sect.
遵从旧约。
That Catholicism
现在
stresses
的
on
教
the
宗
old
听说
book,
是耶稣会
old
的，
Bible.
耶稣会的，那么是属于新约；基督教
And
是属于
then
新约，
Christianity
天主教
is
是属于旧
the
约，
new
犹太
books,
教
the new
本
books
身
of
来
the
讲就
Bible.
是犹太人，
And
就希伯来人
Judaism is for the
希
Jews
伯来人，
or
他
Hebrews.
们是属于就称为上帝的这个选民。他们另外的是在
That's the
就
elected
是
people of
迦
God.
南地那个地方，原来的摩西到了西乃山上面，指着那一片土地说：“上帝给你们的土地就是在那里。”结果他们去
He
了那里，
pointed that that's
周
the
围
land
全
that
部都是
God
回教，
pointed
只
for
有
the
他是犹
people.
太教。
And they went there and
东
they
正
were
教
surrounded
是
by
从这
Muslim,
个天主教
and
分
that's
出
the
来，
Judaism.
大部分
And
它
Orthodox,
传到了希腊。
the Greek
东正教
Orthodox
是传到
was
了希腊。
split from the Catholicism,
那么回
and
教
mostly
是
in
穆罕默德
Greece.
他是讲说他是最后的先知，
And Muslim
在
was
古
by
兰经里面，
Muhammad,
在古兰经里面
and he said he
有
was
写
the
到了
last
摩西，
prophet.
写
And
到了
in
耶稣，
Quran it talked
但是
about
都换另外一个
Moses
名
and
字，
Jesus,
都有写到，
but with
其实
different
他是
names.
同样的一个上帝，同
Actually,
样的上帝，
they're all the same
没有人
God.
看过上帝，
Nobody had
包括
ever seen God,
包括摩西，
including
包
Moses
括耶稣
or Jesus.
我们讲父子圣灵，父
The
就
Father,
是
the
耶和
Son,
华
and the Holy Spirit.
子
The Father
就
is
是
the
耶稣，
Jehovah, and the
圣
Son
灵
is
就是所有的
Jesus,
天使，
and the Holy Spirits are all the angels.
圣灵三位一体。
So
我们那时候是这样子
Father,
讲
Son, and the
父
Holy
子
Spirit
圣
are
灵
one
三位一体。
body.
其实
That's
大
what
家
we
也
said
知道，耶
before.
稣
Actually, we
那
knew
个
that
在拿
Jesus
撒勒的地方，
at
有木
Nazareth
匠的儿子，就
was
耶
the
稣
son of a carpenter,
母亲就是
Joseph,
玛利亚。
and
13
his
岁
mother
的
was
时候，他
Maria.
离开了拿撒勒，
At 13,
不
he
知道哪
left
里去，没有
Nazareth,
人知道。
and nobody knew.
回来的时候，他
where he
穿白
went.
色的衣服，
And
跟
when he
喇
came
嘛色
back,
的衣服，
he was wearing
Kizo
white robe
是斜
and
披的，
llama color
像
robe
个佛教徒的样子。
and half
他回来，
slanted, like showing one
只有
shoulder, like
3
Buddhists.
年
And
传
he
法只有3
spread
年
the
然后他就被钉十字架。
for 3 years, and then he was
这
crucified.
是
at
世
the
界宗
cross.
教的这个根源。我对
Spread
回
the
教
teaching.
也是研究蛮深的，整个
So that's
古兰经，
the
他们称
origins
为
of the
可兰
different
经、古兰经。
religions.
哇，
So
这
toward
个
Al-Quran,
文
I
莱的
also
弟子
did
送给
quite a
我一
bit of
本
research.
中文翻译的
A
这个
disciple
古兰
from
经，
Brunei gave
我把
me
整
a
本全部看
Chinese version of
整本
Quran,
古兰经全部
and I
全部都
read
看
all of it.
我对回教的认识也是
So I
蛮
knew
深的。我今天是
quite
讲宗教大
deeply
观。
about Muslim. So I was just talking about
其实我对于每一个宗教大部
the
分来
briefing
讲
about
都
all the different religions.
是有那个这个研究跟这个他的那个。
So
释迦牟
I
尼佛传法是传给
researched
地藏
quite a
王
bit.
菩萨，
And Sakyamuni Buddha entrusted Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva on the Dharma.
附属地藏王菩萨，当大前神王国还没有来之前，
Before the greatly
所护法给地藏王菩萨。
authoritative Buddha
为
descend
什么没
upon
有
the
护法
Saha
给
world,
观世音菩萨？
he entrusted the Buddha Dharma upon Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And why not to Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, who delivered the most beings, nor to Manjushri Bodhisattva with the greatest wisdom?
都是法王子。
They are both Dharma princes, and Sabbatabhadra Bodhisattva too, Manjushri Bodhisattva. They are both Dharma princes and also Manjushri and Mahastama Prapta are Dharma princes, but Maitreya Bodhisattva is the future Buddha. He didn't entrust the Buddha Dharma to any of them, but instead to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, because of all the Bodhisattvas, of all the great Bodhisattvas, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, Manjushri Bodhisattva, Samantabhadra, Siddhigarbha, Maitreya, Akasagarbha, Viskambi, Vajrapani. These are the 8 great Bodhisattvas. When they appeared together, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva selected Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva to entrust the Buddha Dharma, primarily because he was an ordained monk.
地藏王菩萨是出家。
Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva was an ordained monk.
附属人天品啊，人天把所有
So
的人跟
entrusting
天都附属给
all
地
the
藏
heavenly beings and the human
地藏
beings
菩萨非常
to
的伟大
Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva.
原因在这里
That's why Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva is extremely remarkable. That's the reason why.
那今天我们讲道果，讲道果。
Now we will continue to
第
talk
三
about Lamdre.
体性双应定，就是讲
On
禅
the
定
third, the meditation of dual execution
境现
of
空
natural
双应，
form.
主要以外境上体性生无分别。
The dual execution of emptiness and surrounding phenomena, primarily on the external environment, the natural form
这
generates
个叫做
non-discernment.
禅定叫做
So it is outside, not
境
inside.
空双应。
It is called the dual execution of emptiness and surrounding phenomena. Something is very
有人拍
strange.
照啊，今天
Today,
2017年，有人向虚空拍照，
in
拍到一位
2070,
空行母，
took a picture to
拍
the
到一位
sky,
空行母，他有
and
脸，有
took a
穿衣
picture
服
of a dakini with the
有
face
在飞翔，
wearing clothes
在
and
飞翔
flying.
的这一种
posture.
在2016年，
And in
这
2016,
李琦师姐，
Dharma
她向
Sister
虚
Li
空中
Qi
拍照，
took a
2016
picture
年
toward
也
the
拍到一
sky,
个空行母。
and she also took a picture of a
李
dakini.
琦，你那个空行母是2016年几月几日拍的？
What day did you take the picture?
6月27，6月
On June
27日。
27th,
好，他拍到一个空行母。
she took a
另外
picture of a
今天
dakini.
拍照的那一位是谁？有在这里吗
And today, the one that took picture,
哦，你站起来。
please stand up.
哦，是英国的美山师姐。你是
And Dharma Sister
什么
Mei
时候拍
San
到的？
from England. When did you take the picture?
那你今年什么时候拍的？对，昨天他拍的，
Yesterday, she took a
去
picture.
年他拍的，
And
去年拍的跟昨
last
天
year,
拍
she
的，
took the picture.
两个是一样的。
And the pictures are exactly the same on the same dakini.
也就是说，1年以前向虚空拍的那个空景，
So a year ago, the picture that she took
在昨
on
天
that
又在
dakini,
虚空中显现，完全
and
是一模一
yesterday,
样的，
the
穿的
dakini
衣
that
服一样，
appeared in
面
the
孔一
sky
样，
are exactly the
跟
same, with the
它的
same face, the same
神采
clothes,
全部都是一样的，
and
是吗？
figure.
好，
Right?
你们请坐。
Now please be seated.
所以这种不是巧合吧？
So this is not a
但
coincidence,
是那个
right?
空行母是穿黄色的衣服，
And the dakini
黄色的衣服，
was wearing yellow
有一点
clothes
套一点红，
and a little bit of red.
衣服黄色跟红的衣服。
So yellow and red
那么一
clothes.
个是横着飞，一个是站立着飞。
Is flying
但
horizontally,
是让它
the
两个
other
都
one
站立的话，
is
是完全一
flying
模一样的。
vertically. But if we compare them both vertically,
不
they're
同的
exactly the
时间
same.
呢，隔了年拍出来的空
But
行母，
they were
居然是
taken
一样的。
a year
这
apart,
是很稀奇，这个是属于像
and yet they
镜
are
线
of the same
空双
dakini.
印，显现在虚空中的。
So this is the
有一
appearance in the
次我不
sky.
是从这个图书馆吃完饭回来吗？
One
满天都
time,
是黑的。
as I walked out
我
from
就
the
是想
dining
说
room,
哎呀，全部都是墨
the
色，
sky is
加
just
一点
black.
颜色吧。
Just,
然
and
后
I
我就
said,
把
just the
手机
color
起
of
来
the
拿
black
一个
ink.
拿一个画笔，
And I
在
said,
空
let's
中
add the
摇
few
了几
color.
下，
So my hand, as if holding a
开
brush,
始出现红
and
色。
wave it to the
就摇
sky.
完以后就出现红
And
色，
immediately the red color appeared.
所以禅定呢是不管外跟不管
So
内，
meditation
其实
is regardless
一
of
切就是在禅定。
external or internal. Everything
害
is
我
in
到现在
meditation.
再也不敢这样子画，
So I don't
为什么
dare
不
to
敢
paint
画？
like that anymore, to move
因为
my brush
害
like
怕
that.
这个漏气。
Why?
说我要画
Because
色彩的，
Maybe it would be
没
embarrassing.
有出来。
Like if I intentionally say I want to paint
突
colors
然
and
就
then
讲说
it
我要
didn't
画色
appear.
彩的，一画哎
At that time,
就出来了，
too, it was just inadvertently.
就显出来了。没有
And
画以前
then
是
the
没有
rainbow
的，
colors
就是这样
appeared
子画一下，它就有。
before I swift my
那现在
paintbrush.
我也不敢做，为什么？因
It-
为画了没有就
There
忘
were no
记
colors. But now I don't dare to do it
只
again.
有一次的机缘，像他们
There
一
was
样，
just
像是境外，那么就叫做
One
境外。
chance. So
境外
that's
的时候
called
啊，你
the
也是在
external
像释迦牟尼佛他自己
surrounding.
讲，无时无
Like
刻
Sakyamuni Buddha
都在
said,
禅定之中，
that at any
他任
moment
何时候他都
he's
是在
always
禅
in
定。
meditation.
他什么叫禅定？
What is
就是专
meditation?
一啊！
It's concentration,
禅定的第一步就是专一。
single-mindedness.
你
The
精
first
神非
step
常
to
专一
meditation is
的时候就叫
single-mindedness.
禅定。
When you are
像
in
师
full
尊在说法
concentration, that's called
也要很
meditation.
专一的这样子去
Like
说
when Grandmaster is
在
giving
专
Dharma
一的时
teaching,
候
I have to be
就是禅定。
concentration. When you are in full concentration, that's called meditation.
所以原理上就是镜现空双印，
So that's the dual execution of emptiness and the external surrounding phenomena.
体性是没有什么分别的，
And in this case, the natural
它的
form
体性
generates non-discernment. There's no difference in the natural
生于
form.
闭密心之上，体性生
Dual
造
execution of emptiness and
外境
luminous clarity of the mind arises on the secret mind. And the
如果是
natural
在
form
你的
generates
心
bright
上的
clarity.
双印呢，心理上的双印，
So the dual
就是在我们
execution on the
体内
mind
上
that's
心的
inside the
双印
body.
应该是水火交融，
that should be the merging of the water and fire, the water above and the inner fire two more. That's merging together. That's called the dual execution. In Buddhism, the dual execution of the external phenomena is skillful means and compassion. The two are equal. When they are balanced, it's called dual execution. Or between compassion and wisdom. When the two are together, between wisdom and compassion, that are there are no difference, which means there is no difference between the mundane and the enlightened. That's the first. So Havajras, the full name is the auspicious Havajra of the great compassion and wisdom of empty nature. And the instructive sutra. So compassion and wisdom, that's executed together. That's Havajra. Actually, there is no difference between compassion and wisdom. Compassion is for the worldly dharma, and wisdom belongs to the wisdom of the empty nature or Buddha nature. But you have to utilize them without any discernment or any differences in order to attain Buddhahood. So this is quite profound and deep. So the dual execution of emptiness and the bright clarity in the mind, when you open your mind and you would see the blue light appearing in your heart. So that's the appearance of the luminous clear light. So there's that clear light appearing in your body that arises on the secret mind, and the natural form generates bright clarity. And the dual execution of emptiness and bright clarity, the clear light has form and emptiness has no form, and the two together executed together. And the third is the dual execution of emptiness and bodily bliss, arises inside the body, and the natural form generates bliss. And this is something that I have expounded numerous times. That is Vajravarahi.
叫什么定啊？金刚亥乐空双印定。
The meditation of the dual execution of emptiness and bliss. Vajravarahi has also the inner fire meditation. But when the inner fire is ignited and moves inside the channels, would generate bliss. And when the light drops descend, also generate bliss. So that's from the solid to become liquids. In the process from solid to liquid, it would generate bliss. Because of the burning of the inner fire, it would melt the body chakra, which is solid, and then it would become
那么
the liquid
跟
like
水
drops
交融
that's
的时候
descending.
到了
And when the
中脉
fire
的
and
各处
water
就会
merging
产生快乐，那一种叫做
and
体性
reaching all
生热
channels, it would generate bliss,
体性
and
生
it
热
would call
要了我们
that the
禅
natural
定的时候
form
也了解
generates
有
bliss.
这三
So
种
you need to understand
禅
there are
定，
three kinds
有
of
15
meditation
种一切的接受，
and 15
其
kinds of
心气之
experiences
缘
or
起
sensations
数目及次第不定，
is the beginning
非
of
是
the affinity
依
of mind
次而成。
qi.
故有
Quantity
接
and
受
process
依
vary.
非是次第
Success
而
is
生
not guaranteed
身
after a
体
certain
任
number of
何
practice,
界任
and
成
one
为
does
禅
not
定，
necessarily attain fruition at a
彻
certain
底
level of
已到。
practice either.
就是
Treat
讲说
any experiences
你这
that
种接受
arises
产生出
that
来的
arises
时
as
候
meditation as part of the
都
scheme on the
都
path.
称为禅定。有
So any
15种
sensations or spiritual
15种接受
experiences are
但
considered
是以
meditation. There are 15 kinds:
空
bliss,
智
emptiness,
方便
wisdom,
慈悲
skillful means,
种种的
compassion,
接受所产生出来。
generated all these
这
kinds
种
of
禅定呢，
sensation or
都是
experiences.
很特殊的。
This kind of meditation are all very special. That's
那
my
么再来讲
introduction.
什么比较好
And next, what should we talk about?
啊？讲什么？哦，是你讲的哦，不是我讲的，不是我要讲的，是连续法师要讲叉叉。
It's not me, okay? It's Reverend Lian Xi that
然后
wanted
我
me
最
to
近
talk
看
about
了他的
X.
开示文，
Recently, I read
很简
her
单
Dharma
地
talk
跟大家
transcription.
介绍一下。
I like
还有
to
提到
simply, very
啊
simple.
烧
I
护
like
摩
to
火
briefly
供，
introduce.
那么
She
黄财
mentioned
神
about
下降，
performing
那
Homa,
么烧护
Yellow
摩火
Jambala
供，
descended,
红财神下降，
or performing
烧护摩
Homa,
火供，
the Red Jambala
财宝
descended,
天王下降，
performing Homa, and the
都有
Wealth
这
deity
些
descended.
很下降的时候都有对话。
And
我
every
跟大家
time
讲
when they
过
are
在保
after,
卫的时候
after
讲
they
叫
descend,
做交
they would
叉
have
开始
dialogues.
啊，它
And
是
then
属
I
于
would
交叉
call
开始。
her
交叉
Dharma
开始
talk
可以讲
as
说
the
黄财神讲了什么话， 那么
it's
他
like
在
the
引用他的
coupled
话
Dharma
再讲
talks.
解一番。
So like the Yellow Jambala would give a Dharma
那
talk, and
红
X
财
would
神
give
讲
a
了什么
Dharma
话？
talk, and
这个
or the
常
Red
常有
Jambala
用
would
红
give
财神
some
也是
Dharma talk, and then
财宝天王
X
下降
used that to
财宝
explain
天王就跟
or the
常
财宝
常
天
互相
王
讲了一些
that
话，
the Wealth Heavenly King would
也流传，也就是
say
他
a
解释财宝
Dharma
天
talk
王的
to
话，
X, and then
这
she
样
would
这样等于
explain
是
the words
都是
of the
每一
deity.
次附魔
So
都是
every
他们下
Homa,
降来讲话，
so it
就
would
等
be
于
the
是这样
same that
叫做交
the
叉
deities
开示
would
啊，交叉开示。我们
descend and give Dharma
有
talk.
谁会交叉开示？
So
那
it's
上师里
called
面在说法当中，有谁用了交叉开示？有黄财神跟我讲什么，所以我解
it's
释一下。
called the
有谁？举手一
like
下
a
你
mixed
们
talks. So any other masters that
这
would
个
give Dharma
红
talk
财
like
神
that?
下降，
Yellow Jambala
在
descended,
比
Red
较好
Jambala
玩一点
descended,
的，我想好玩一点，就
or
讲红财神好。
in a more fun,
红
let's
财
talk
神
about Red Jambala.
在叉叉的开示当中，他是这样子的：
In the
红
X
财
Dharma
神喜欢
talks,
唱歌，
Red Jambala is like this.
他喜欢唱歌，
Red
喜欢
Jambala
跳
loves to
舞
sing, loves to
喜欢
dance,
跳舞。那么他经常在叉叉的耳边呢，唱歌给叉叉听，唱
and
歌给叉叉听。然后
he loves
又喜欢跳
to
舞
sing
就
for
跳给
X
叉叉看。
and loves to dance for X.
而且红财神呢、对叉叉的每一次都
So Red Jambala is very kind to
牛奶
X
给叉叉喝。
and offered milk to X to drink.
红财神在那边，
Yellow Jambala, Red Jambala is there, and you never offer any milk for me. I have to remember that.
象头财神是属于印度教的四大神。
So the elephant head wealth deity, which is Rajamala, considered one of the 4 Hindu gods. Brahma, the creator, Shiva, the destroyer or Mahashwara, Vishnu,
象头财神呢，
and
是
Ganesh.
西瓦的儿子。
Ganesh was the son of
长得
Shiva,
特别快，
but he grew up very
西瓦出
fast.
去外面，
And Shiva was traveling.
那个回来的时候，
Upon his
看
return,
到这个西瓦的太太
he saw his wife
浴室里面洗澡，
was taking
外面
shower,
站着一个很高大勇猛的男
and
士，
outside there was a huge and tall young man.
西瓦的儿子，但是他不知道。
Actually, he was Shiva's son, but he didn't know.
在那边，
And he thought his wife was taking a shower. How could there was some young man standing
出来
there?
了以后才发觉，
So he chopped his head off.
被自己父亲杀了。
And when the wife got out from the
那时候
bath,
西瓦就是破坏神，
she found out that Shiva had
他
killed
就很惊恐，
his son.
去求教
And Shiva was Mahaswara.
韦斯努，
So he
去求
prayed
教
to
韦斯努
Vishnu.
韦斯努说：“你某一天清晨出外，
And Vishnu
看
said,
到的第一
on
个，
a certain day when you
你把他的
leave,
头砍下来，
and whoever that you see,
接上了这个，
you cut his
接
head
上了
off,
你儿子的头，你儿子才能活。
and then connect it
就是
to
他就在那
your
一天
son's
出来
neck.
一出去
And on that day,
所以
The
他
first
向
that
头
he
砍下
saw
来
was an
接上
elephant.
了儿子的头，
So he chopped the elephant's head and then connected it with the son's neck.
他是属于
So he's considered a wealth deity or fortune god, very famous in Hinduism.
是特别的哇，万人空巷，可以算是第四大神。第四大神，
So very popular
他经常唱歌
and widely worshipped. And we can say that he's the 4th
还供养
greatest
他
god.
牛奶。
And he often sang
我还
and
不知道
danced
大
and
象
offered milk
唱
to
歌是
X.
什么声音？
I don't know what is
也
the
不知道他
sound
跳
of
的
an
歌
elephant
像
singing or the dance of an elephant.
是怎么跳？当然，印度
What
人
the
他
dance is
本身
like.
很热衷于唱歌跟跳，他们的舞
Indians love to sing and dance, and Indian dances are very nice.
那这个不算了，这个就算了吧，没什么，就是
But
唱歌
that's
给
no
他
big
听
deal.
天天唱歌给他
Just
听
singing for her
啊
every
天
day
天跳舞给他看，
and dancing for her every day.
当渣渣很快乐的。
So it must
你
be
看天天
happy
有
to
这
be
个
X.
象头财神唱歌给他听，又跳舞给他
See,
看，
every day there's this Ganesh singing and dancing for her and offer
真的是
milk
我看了
for
都
her
非
to
常羡
drink.
慕。到现在
You
没有
know,
一个
reading
父亲唱
that
歌给我听。
I feel very envious because there's no Dakini singing for me.
他说财宝天王啊，
And the Cai Bao
你知道
Tian
他最
Wang,
喜欢吃什么吗？鱼翅。
you know what he loves most is the shark fin.
他文章里面写着财宝天王最喜欢
And
吃
in the article,
你们
it
供养
was
财宝
written
天王的时候，一定
that
要用
this
鱼翅
deity
给他
loves
吃
shark
要上
fin
等鱼翅
most. So you have to make offering of the premium shark fin, the
现
best
在买鱼
kind.
翅哦是违法的，
Now,
是保育类
eating
的
shark
动物
fin
鲨鱼的那种
is illegal
鱼翅它
because
财宝
it's
天王最
endangered
喜欢吃鱼
species.
翅我就
But
不
this
懂
well deity loves to eat
财
shark
宝天
fins.
王也是从西藏那里传过来的，
But-
西藏根本没有海，他们看不到海的。
But this wealth
西藏不
deity,
连接
Cai Bao Tian Wang, came from Tibet, and in Tibet there's no oceans. So this Cai Bao Tian Wang, this wealth heavenly king, how could he like seafood, shark fin? And according to my guru, he said, the offerings of the human beings for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas just want to see the sincerity of the persons offering it. They don't eat them. But for the heavenly gods, the heavenly gods also don't care about our offerings in the human world. They just want to see our sincerity. But ghosts would eat them. You know how they eat them? You know how ghosts eat? They will not, like if you make an offering of a chicken leg, you know, they wouldn't be eating the skin and the meat and then give you the bone. No. They just take the qi, the energy of the food. Say like chicken, the ghost would just take in the qi into their bodies. They want food. And X wrote it really beautifully that when she offered a glass of wine and the deity would drink it and then would feed him the food like the shark fin, the premium, and he would chew and eat it. And kept saying, oh, this is good, it's good, it's good. Is it possible? Only the ghost would say that it tastes good. And the yellow Jambala requested 49 dishes. Each time, each offering. And this Vaishravana, or this wealth heavenly king, wants 108 dishes, especially the highest grade of shark fin. But in Tibet, in the ancient time, how could they be shark fins? They don't even eat fish. Because they treat fish as gods. So the Yang Zhou Rong Fu, a lake, and the La Mu La Cuo is the lake of the Mahasri Devi. In the Yang Zhou Rong lake, the fish are fine there because they don't eat fish. But the Han people went into Tibet and eat the fish. But in the past, the Tibetans don't eat fish. So how could this deity that came from Tibet eat fish? Where was it recorded in the sutra that this Vaishravana wealth deity eats shark fin? I didn't even know. I had never had any shark fins up until my college days. When did I start eating the shark fin? After graduation from college, when I started the feng shui consultation, there were people started offering shark fins to me when I was in my 30s. So when you analyze it, then I found them wrong. So for this Cai Bao Tian Wang, the Vaisravana, from her Dharma talk in 1998, August 1998, in her Dharma talk transcription, it was written that the Vaisravana loves shark fin most. And she requested the disciples there to offer the highest grade of shark fin because this deity recognized what is the best. They will not eat, that he will not eat the lower grade. Did he really eat it? No, because it's his qi. So even the ghosts, they would not eat it so that there's only bone left when the dishes were offered to them. So even for the universal deliverance of the ghost month, the dishes stay there, they just eat the qi, they just take the qi in. So please tell Grandmaster if you find in the sutras that this Vaisravana loves to eat shark fin, then I have to correct myself. So yellow Jambala, red Jambala, Vaisravana, or white Jambala, or any of the wealth deities, they're in the sagely realm, we can say. They have the celestial fruits and food. They would not desire the wine of the human world. Why? Do you know that the wine is toxic? Because the grapes have lots of insecticides and they will never be washed. Because if you wash them, it's impossible to make wine of it. And the grapes have to be sprayed, otherwise the birds would eat them. And then you collect them, all the grapes, and then squeeze them and become wine. So that's definitely some insecticides in the wine. So red Jambala is like buddy with her. So they consider red Jambala as X chapter's greatest protector and also the Dragon King. The other day, there were 8 Dragon Kings came here. So I said, you went to X chapter, so you're coming here to bless us? What for? Because the 8 great Dragon Kings have taken refuge in her. I don't know what to say. But the Dragon Kings still come here to bless us. That is the true case. So her Dharma talk transcriptions, oh my God. And people who listen to her talk, you know, the gifts that were given were all formless. Of course you can't see them and you can't take them, but they still believe her. What's going on here? In articles she wrote that she doesn't understand Japanese. Or Spanish, like saying, hola amigo, te quiero mucho. And she doesn't understand Spanish. Just now, a dialect spoken by someone from Dongguan.
識聽唔識講。
I couldn't understand.
對啊，他講的東莞話又不是廣東話。
It's not Cantonese, but it's Dongguan dialect, which is different from Cantonese. I couldn't understand.
這個差很奇怪。
But acts strange.
他說日本人講日本話，他也聽不懂。西班牙人
She said she couldn't understand Japanese spoken by Japanese or Spanish spoken by the Spaniards. But she could understand all the language of all the animals. You can understand the language spoken by human beings, but you understand this language spoken by the animals, by the crab, by the chameleon. And you told a long story about it, that a crab was Shiaji's dad, or the parrot. Master Lianzi, who was that parrot? Your grandma?
恁祖嘛，恁阿嬷，恁阿嬷，鹦鹉是恁阿嬷，莲子的阿嬷。
So the parrot was Master Lianzi's grandma.
你是变色龙的什么人？
And Lianxi, who are you?
好像是跟你有哥兄弟关系是吧？
Like brothers?
好像是有兄弟关系耶。你看变色龙，这
A
个蜘蛛
chameleon
它也
and
可以跟它讲
spider.
话。
She could talk to,
乌龟，它也
and the
能够跟它
turtle.
讲话。
and she could
这
talk
个
to
苍
it.
蝇也可以跟它
fly
讲话。萤火虫也跟他讲说，
And the
等他11万人
fireflies
要皈依他。
Has said that waiting for her for
这个到了多米尼加老
110,000 years
老
to take refuge
老
in
的
her.
教堂，
And
圣
in
母
Dominican
玛利亚也说
Republic,
等他500
in the
年，
old church,
不知道等
that
他多久。
Maria had been waiting for her for 500
为
years.
什么要
For
等
what?
他？
Why was
也
she
没有
waiting for
他
her?
去，我相信他去天主教的老教堂，多米尼加天主教老教堂。
I
那圣
believe
母玛利亚
that
说
she
等他
went
500年。
to the old church in Dominican Republic, and she claimed that Maria was waiting for her for 500 years.
供养给天主教堂嘛，也没有。
And I
拍
asked
拍屁股
what
就
for?
走了，也没有
Was she going to
改信
give
天
lots
主
of
教
money for the Catholic Church?
为什么要等他
No,
500
she just left, and she didn't change her faith to
所以你
Catholicism.
稍微脑筋
Then
用
why
想一想，你就
Would
知
she
道
wait
你
for
日本
her
人
for
讲的
500
话你也
years?
听不懂。西
So
班
think
牙
about it.
你自己在文章开示文里面写的哦。日本
In
人
your
讲
own
你弄
talk,
的
you
他不知
said
道
that she cannot understand Japanese spoken by the
他也
Japanese,
不知道。
or she couldn't understand the Spanish language
那现在呢？
spoken by the
他既然能
Spaniards.
够跟所有的动物讲
And
话，
yet, she could talk to all the
他
animals,
大象讲话他也听得懂。
and she could understand
大
the
象
language
他也
of
跟
the
大象等
elephant,
他500年，
the
大
words.
象也等
The
他。
elephant was also waiting for her for 500 years to
萤
take
火虫
refuge
等
in
他
her.
11万年，
And the fireflies have been
他
waiting
说还没有
for
活教，11
110,000
万年前还没
years
有活教。
before Buddhism was founded on
那时候
earth.
没有佛教，这个萤火虫都知道，
But the
要来
fireflies
超
knew
度他们，
about
超度这个
Bardo
民族是佛教的
deliverance
名词啊。
by
11
her.
万年既然没有佛教，
But Bardo
什么叫
deliverance is
超
a
度？
term created in Buddhism, but
所以用脑筋啊
110,000
要
years
平
ago
常
there
的
was no Buddhism.
你知道吗？有
So
3
think
种量
about
啊，
it.
我不是讲了吗？一个
There are
是质
three
量，
pramanas. One
一个是
is
比量，
is
一
the
个是圣
knowledge
言量。
by knowledge,
你不是
and
我
one
这
by
3种
comparison,
的逻辑
and the third one is by the
不
words
就
of the
是催眠
sages. And if it
质
doesn't
量、比量、
comply
圣
to
言量
these three pramanas, then you're just
不
boasting.
合
It's
不
just
符合这3
crap.
种逻辑的，大家查一查。
So if it
然后
doesn't
网络
comply
上
to these
大
three
家能
kinds
够
of
找的尽
logic,
量找财宝
so
天王
check
喜欢
check
吃
on it on the
上
internet
等一次。
that the
如果找得出来
Vaishravana,
的
the
话
wealth heavenly
这个
king,
我看
loves
这
to
个财宝
eat
天
shark
王那个
fin.
莲花座也
If
不用
you
做。
If you found it, then the Vaishravana doesn't have to sit on his treasure throne anymore. That the glass of wine and toast the wealth deity, and then also the food was offered to the deity mouthful by mouthful. Is that how he eats? Even the ghosts just take in the qi. You know, let me tell you, only the ghost asks for food. That's why there's the universal deliverance. So asking for 108 dishes or 49 dishes, that's because the ghosts were asking. The sages have no need for food, especially from the mundane world. They're quite fishy for them. They just want to see your sincerity in the offering. Fruits, you know, the celestial fruits are even much better. And the celestial nectar, it's like ambrosia, all kinds. Why would they want the toxic or adulterated wine from the human worlds? That's all the talk about X. What time is it? 10. Let me share a few jokes. You know, Buddha Dharma came from three things. Is logic by knowledge, self-knowledge, by comparison, and by the words of the sages. So you test it against this three logics. If it doesn't comply, then it's just all fake, or just a hoax, scam, lies. You know, that the Earth Mother Goddess appeared and said that whatever whatever you say counts. Is there such a human being on Earth? No, not even Trump. Whatever he says doesn't count. You know, there's still the Kim from North Korea. How could he be the definitive that the Earth Mother Goddess stick a note on her that whatever you say has the final, you have the final words. Even I feel I cannot accept it. If you have the final words, how about me? How could there be such a thing? So when I read your talk transcription, I can't accept it. How can you have the last words? Or how can you, whatever you says counts? Is whatever you say doesn't count. So it's like what the Earth Mother gave you, but I add the negation. There's no one human being that has this authority. Even the Earth Mother Goddess doesn't have the last word, because there is the God, the Tian Gong, in the realm of desire and realm of form, and above it there's still the realm of no form. Even the gods in the realm of no form doesn't have the last words, because there's still Sravakas and Arhats. And even then, they don't have the last words because above them there's still bodhisattvas. And the bodhisattvas don't have the last words because they are Buddhas. And even the Buddhas still have the last words because the 11th ground Buddha still lasts over the 13th ground Vairocana. And even then, above him, there's the 16th ground Adharma Buddha, the primordial Buddha. Even the primordial Buddha's word doesn't count because primordial Buddha never cares for anything. So if you make this comparison, this logic, step by step, even the bodhisattvas don't have the last words. At that time, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva thought that he had delivered so many sentient beings. But it turned out, when he checked, the sentient beings stayed the same, not one more, not one less. So he broke his vows. He didn't want to salvage sentient beings anymore. As soon as he did that, because he broke his vow, his whole body broke into pieces, into dust, just like dust, completely broken. And Amitabha Buddha collected and remade his body and then blew a breath to it, and he became the 1,000 eyes, 1,000 arms Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. So what Kuan Yin said also doesn't count. There are also things that he could not master. It's weird that so many people believe her saying that she has the last words. It doesn't comply to the logics, not by knowledge, not by comparison. Because if you have the last words, even Allah would lose over you, and God too, and the Buddha. Everybody loses over you, and Grandmaster is no longer Grandmaster then. Then Grandmaster would become shit. I would become Pooh because she has the last words.
前几天我们20多年未见的同协会，每一个人的变化都非常好。
A few days ago, we had decades after a reunion. Everybody have got married and have children. Everybody have changed so much, and I told my husband, you know, the flower of our class have not gotten married, but you know, someone like me got married first. And the husband replied, because in a typical situation is the one on sale gets sold first. So the discounted items go first. So the mediocre ones get married sooner. If you're extremely beautiful, it's not easy to find a marriage partner. On a weekend, I borrow a car from a friend, and on the road, I saw the friend's wife. And I gave her a ride. And then we met the police, and the police officer asked, "Is this car yours?" "Oh, my friend's." "And is this your wife?" And I said, "No, it's my friend's."
警察很感慨，
And the police officer
这个朋友
was
实在是
sighing.
太好，
Your friend is so you have such a
给
good
车子
friend.
又载朋友的，我
Give him the car and the wife.
有一天，小宝
One
鼻
day,
青脸肿的回到家。
Xiaobao
你今
was
天跟谁打
all
架了？
bruised on his
妈
face
妈的
coming home.
骂。
Who are you
早就
fighting
跟你
with,
说，在
Mom?
你生气的时候，你
Scolded
要从
him.
1数到50，要学
You know,
会的。
When you're
忍耐
angry, you have to
忍耐
count from 1 to 50
小宝
and
可
endure
是
it.
啊，那个
And 小宝
小
said,
羊的妈妈
But Xiao
教
Yang's
小
mom
羊要数
taught
到25就可以。
Xiao Yang to count to 25 only. That's
因
why
为人
he
家数到
got beaten.
25就可以打，还要数到50才可以打。
He had to count till 50, but the other person had to
这个
count
是什
to
么东西？这
25
是比
only.
量，
So this is logic by comparison.
比量。在逻辑学上就是比量，逻辑学
In
就是比量。
logicism is
和逻
by
辑不合
comparison,
逻辑都是比
whether
量。
it's logical or not.
老婆说，
That's all by
最
comparison.
近老了，
The
牙
wife
缝
said,
就越来越大，怎么办呢？
Getting older and the space between teeth are getting bigger and bigger.
我们人的牙缝，
And
年纪越
then
大牙
when
缝就越
we grow older, wouldn't they become
老公讲
wider?
不会，
And the husband said,
你
No,
要
don't
相
worry.
信我，
Believe
等你
me,
老了，连
when
牙
you're-
都没有了。
when you're old, you have no more teeth.
这是什么？这是比量，
This is also
也是质
logic
量，
by
也是质
comparison
量。
and also logic
因为
by
大家知道的嘛
knowledge,
这个
because we all know
人生70才开始，也
that
就是70岁开始
human
掉
life
牙齿
starts at 70. You start to lose teeth at 70.
70岁开始掉牙齿，很好玩的笑话啊！
That's a fun joke.
甲问乙，我问你
A
一
X
件
B
事，你能为我保守秘密吗？
Can I ask you a
你
question?
说可以。
Can you keep it a
我
secret?
为你
And
保
B
守
replied,
秘密
Sure, I'll
甲
keep it a
说
secret for you.
我最近手
And
头
he
比
said,
较紧，你能借点钱给我吗？
I'm a little
乙
bit
就
tight
讲
these days.
别
Can you?
担心
Can I borrow
我
money
当
from
没有
you?
听见就是
And B said, Don't worry. It's like I have never heard it.
这个我们活在这世界上，大家要有一些
Living in
智
this
慧
world,
要有一些
you have to
智慧
have some wisdom.
你要懂得
You need to understand
这人间的知识，人间有很多的知
the
识，
logic by knowledge. There are a lot of
你要懂得
knowledge
这些知识。
in this world. You have to know them.
第二个，你
Second
要懂得因明学，
You need to
在密
know
教叫做因明，
the
就是
science
逻辑，
of logic.
就是逻
In
辑
Tantrayana,
啊逻辑学。
it's
你
the
用
science
这个
of
逻辑
logic.
来看
And you
每一
have
件
to
事情
check using logic.
啊，就你能够得妙观察智。
Then you would be able to
是真因为
attain
有妙
the
观察
wisdom of the marvelous observation.
就
And
知道
because
他在
Grandmaster
说
has this wisdom, as soon as I
就是因
check,
为
I
你
know
懂
she
得
lies.
质量，懂得
Because
比量，
you
懂得逻
understand
辑
the logic by knowledge and logic by comparison. I mean the knowledge
圣言就是释迦牟尼佛所讲的
comparison
话
by knowledge
圣
and by
人所讲
logic,
的话
and also
懂得圣言量，
by
你
the
合乎
words
圣
of
言
the
量
sages, by the words of the Buddha.
佛陀讲的
If you know what the words
诸
of
行
the
无常
sages, like what the Buddha
诸行无
said,
常
everything is impermanent,
诸法无我，
that everything is unrelated to
涅槃即
self,
涅
and
槃即
nirvana extinction is bliss.
这属于圣言量。
These are the words of the
这
sages.
三法印的
And if it
第四法印是
complies
什么？
to the three Dharma seals, and what is the fourth Dharma seal?
一切一切皆苦，一切皆苦。
That all is
这是
suffering.
属于圣言量圣言量。
These
这个是属于圣言量。
are considered to be the words of the sages.
诸行无常，诸法
Everything is impermanent, everything is unrelated to self, and extinction is bliss. If it complies to the words of the sages, and you know that everything is suffering, then that is Buddha
合
Dharma.
于圣言量的，
Anything that complies to the words of the sages is Buddha Dharma. But if it doesn't comply, then it has
所以
deviated.
当你知道这个堂已经供了，
So when you knew
供了5
that
个
X
领袖
chapter has
你就知
enshrined
道它已
the
经
X hall and the 5 heads of the ghost, then it has deviated
这4个法印，
and it doesn't comply to the words of the Buddha,
所以这样子大家就可以
and
了解
base doesn't comply to the 4 Dharma
什么
seals.
是已经是非
Then now
非
you
法
know what is Buddha Dharma
已经是非法，
and what is the
什么是佛法，
non-Dharma.
什么是非法，这样子大家就可以比较出来。
Then you can
Om Mani
compare
Padme
them. Om Mani Padme Hum.